We are live. We are live. We are live. Just bear with me for one moment. I'll make sure the live stream has started. If you're watching, could you just leave a quick comment and let me know whether or not the sound is coming through. Got a few people in the room already. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully this is going ahead. Christopher says hello. Hi, Christopher. We've got Terence Talbot, Too Fast Fury, Paula, Taryn. We got Jet. Can you guys hear me? Am I coming through loud and clear? We got Jacob. Hello, Jacob. Luke says I'm coming through loud and clear. Good stuff. Right, let's crack on. Let's crack on. First and foremost, apologies for last week's live stream. There was a problem with the upload. It was stuck at 95%. I should have just left it, but I started fiddling with it and I accidentally pressed delete. So last week there was a live show. It didn't get uploaded to the channel because of me being an idiot, basically. So yeah, that was quite unfortunate. But yeah, we still got it out live. So yeah, that's how it goes sometimes at all. That's how it goes. Christopher Mongan says upgrade camera. No, thank you, Christopher. No, thank you. You don't have to watch if you don't like the camera. You know, upgrade camera. Bloody hell. Means a lot, yeah. Anyway, I'll try not to let that annoy me too much. Anyway, yeah, so let me give you some channel news. I've just recorded a long video with Ultratech Sports. If you're not already subscribed, check out the Ultratech Sports channel. He's a bit like me. He's a bit ruder than me, but he does some real good stuff. And we've just done an hour of recording. We've discussed Frampton Quigg, and we've discussed a bit about Joshua Martin. So that's up on the channel. I'm actually away for the weekend this weekend. I'm spending some time with the missus, so it's going to be a bit of a quieter weekend on the channel for me. Obviously, there's not too much boxing actually going on this weekend. It's been quite a few days anyway, so possibly well timed. But it's going to be very busy as we get towards Frampton Quigg and into March. You know, obviously there's a lot of big fights coming up. So yeah, very interesting times. I'm just going to get Skype uploaded on my iPad here. Bear with me. You know, this is the phone-in show where anyone can call in, and we can get some back and forth going. Yeah, guess we're talking Joshua Martin. This is the first live show I've done since that was announced, so that'd be an obvious one to cover, perhaps. So we'll get that rolling. We'll get some of that discussion going. My girlfriend is just pouring me a very nice glass of wine. This is very nice of her. So I'll be very sophisticated and drink some wine as we're talking. But yeah, just bear with me for 1 second. I'm just going to go and get a little chair so I can stick the iPad on there. Here we are. And what I'll do is I'll get Skype uploaded right now. So if anyone wants to phone in, if anyone wants to join the discussion, we're good to go. So yeah, if you've added me on Skype, let's try and get some callers in. Didn't get as many callers last week as done previously. So yeah, we're always keen. But yeah, it's been a busy week. Lots of boxing news last few weeks, obviously, with Amir Khan and Charles Martin and all of those big fights getting made. So lots to discuss. We never keep it too rigid on this show. You know, we always have a little bit of back and forth, and we're open to different topics and different questions. So yeah, join in, Skype in. If you don't want to Skype in, join in the chat. You know, and let's get this fight discussed, and let's discuss all the boxing boxing stuff that's going on. I've got 40 people watching live, so if you are watching live, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. That will help support the channel. That will help broadcast this to a wider audience, help me maximize things out. Boxing Discussions, very good channel. If you're watching this and you can see Boxing Discussions in the chat, hit the subscribe button on Boxing Discussions. That is from Jet, who regularly calls into the show, doing some real good videos. I've been checking his stuff out. So yeah, hit the subscribe button there. Jet, by all means, call in. Let's get this thing started. Let's have a chat. You know, in terms of topics for tonight, as I say, Joshua versus Charles Martin. Certainly keen to hear people's thoughts on that. You know, you've probably all seen my thoughts on it. I've done 1 or 2 videos on it, but let's get some chat going. Joker Boxing, thumbs up. Thanks, Joker Boxing. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining. Wesley, sorry, is that Wesley or Wesley? Thanks for joining. He says bully only on the April the 9th card. I think so, mate. Definitely. Mike's joined in. Matthew's joined in. Luke's here. Taran's here. Hacker Time's here. Troy's here. Thanks to everyone for getting involved. Really appreciate you all for joining in. Yeah, hopefully we can talk some good boxing. I'm in the mode. I've just done, as I say, I've just done an hour with Ultratech Sports, and we got Jet calling in. Just bear with me for 1 minute. Evening, Jet. How you doing?
I'm all right. You?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very, very good. Busy week in boxing as always, hey?
Yeah, man. Lot of news, man. I wasn't surprised about the AJ fight at all, though. Like, I wasn't surprised at all. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Charles Martin," but as soon as it came out, I was pretty set that it would be Martin when he was talking about it. I was almost not surprised though. Tough fight for Josh. Tough fight for Andy Joshua. I must say. People think he's gonna knock Martin out. I beg to differ, but yeah. I saw your video. Really detailed, really good as usual. No, I think there's a lot of things that people don't know. Martin is the unknown. He's a 6'5" southpaw. Eddie Hearns just talked about it. I watched his IFL interview before I watched your video. 6'5" southpaw, awkward. Okay, he doesn't have a lot of foot and hand speed, but he's got different punch variety. He'll punch you back, obviously. He's got good power. So it's a tough fight, I think. I don't know. I mean, if Joshua loses, that's his stock right to the bottom again. So it's a tough fight. I mean, money-wise, he must be getting a lot of money. Him and Martin must be getting a lot of money, but I don't know. Tough fight. How are you calling it?
Mate, do you know what? It's a tough fight, as you say. Look, if someone put a gun to my head now and said, who's going to win? I'd pick Anthony Joshua. And Charles Martin's untested. You know, if Anthony Joshua goes out and does him in a round, does him in the first minute, you couldn't say you'd be overly surprised. You know, Charles Martin, we don't know how good his chin is. He doesn't seem to have the best defense out there. My thought here is if Charles Martin can judge the range well, if he can make Joshua struggle even a little bit with the range, and if he can take this fight beyond the first round when Joshua was at his most deadly, then I think it becomes a very, very interesting fight. I'm saying Joshua 70-30, but Martin shouldn't be underestimated. And for me, Joshua hasn't had the right build-up and right prep for a fight like this. I'm still saying he's not going to lose. You know, I'm still saying on the balance of probabilities, he'll probably win. But if he had 3 or 4 good prep fights, this could be 90-10. I see it 70-30 at this point.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, to be fair. He hasn't had the sort of tough fights, maybe like even a Ustinov or something. Not even a Ustinov, maybe like one of the Eastern European gatekeepers. Like even Dimitrenko. You always mentioned Dimitrenko.
Yeah, Dimitrenko, Rudenko, yeah.
Those sort of guys. Even if he was facing those sort of guys, you could be like, okay, he's gone 12 rounds, or he's knocked him out. He's got amazing power. But it's just unknown at the moment. I mean, knocking Dillian White, he was gassed after the second round. It's tough. I mean, it's a tough sell as well. I mean, in the UK, anyone will buy Joshua's fight, but I mean, on a global scale, people will be like, this is a fight of 2 prospects essentially. Even though mine's won a world title, it's 2 prospects. They're unproven at the top level. And then you look at the top of the division. Look, Povetkin, Pulev, Klitschko, Wilder, and Fury. Those are probably like the top 5, and Ortiz are probably like the top 5 or 6 apart from them. So, I mean, you put those two in the same breath as the other 5-6, they'd probably lose to all of them, I reckon, quite handily, either on points or by stoppage. So, I mean, Eddie Hearn's done a really good deal. I think to do it at this stage in Andy Joshua's career is really good, but I can't help but think it's going to be harder than what a lot of people think. I'd still go with Joshua if someone put a gun to my head, I'd have to go with him as well. But I think it's about 60-40, 70-30. It's not a gimme by any chance. You never know with Joshua. You know, lack of foot speed, lack of hand speed, lack of head movement. You know, he's got a good jab, but can he keep Martin off of him for the full 12? We don't know. We have to wait and see.
Yeah. I've always thought AJ is a guy who's quite reliant on range. You know, he's been in against smaller, weaker guys. He likes to bully guys from long range, get his work off. I'm not so sure he's going to be able to do that against Martin. Martin's bigger, southpaw, and I just think Martin's, you know, he's a thinking man's fighter, and that's a phrase that's overused. But Charles Martin, he's the kind of guy who comes out, he has a look, he adjusts. He reminds me very, very, very much again of Tony Thompson. You know, not the most natural athlete, not the fastest, but someone who's very awkward, very clever, and you know, a real sort of difficult guy to actually beat on his day.
Yeah, someone saying good jab. Joshua has no jab. I'd say it's not a great jab, but it's okay. You know, it's not like the worst thing. People say, look, someone says Joshua has a good jab and leaves himself open till it counts. There we go. I think that hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, Joshua's got a good jab. For me, he doesn't use it very well though. Like what I'd like to see him doing is doubling it up, or you know, jab into the body, then jab into the head. He does have a good jab, but I just think he could be using it in a more educated manner.
Cam TFC, he says, watch his last fight, no jab. But you could say he fought on emotion there against Dillian White. He was getting caught up in the moment, you know, big pay-per-view platform. He definitely has holes in his defense. Yeah, I agree with a load of people in the chat. I'd agree with you. Say Joshua has a good jab, but he doesn't utilize it as best as he could. He's not someone like I'm not sure, like a Jamie McDonald or someone like that who varies his jab. He's got a good jab, can use the engine as well. You know, that sort of stuff. He's not. He hasn't got a load of adaptability, if you put it that way. He can't really adapt very well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I actually think Charles Martin, he has got quite a bit of adaptability. You know, I know Charles Martin's fought at a low level, but I've seen him fight on the inside and in the pocket. I've seen him box from range. He's got underrated punch variety. You know, Martin has, you know, quite good short punches. I've just seen Hacker Time in the chat saying Martin is better counter, you know, can throw counters. And yeah, Martin is a counter puncher as well. And for me, Joshua has got open defense, and most importantly, he's not instinctive when he's being hit. You know, you look at Tyson Fury, he's head moving, he's rolling, he's leaning, he's bending, he's dipping. You know, Joshua, for me, he stiffens up when the bullets are coming his way. You can see the panic in his eyes sometimes. Let me tell you this. What I'd say is the trouble that Dillian White put Joshua in that second round, I don't think Charles Martin lets Anthony Joshua off the hook if he can put him in that trouble, and he may not be able to.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, literally, I totally agree with that. 110%. If Martin can get him in that sort of trouble, I don't think he'll relent like Dillian White did. Obviously, Dillian said his shoulder went, but you know, that's maybe smoke and mirrors. We will never know the full truth. Moving on, it says Eddie Hearn said in his recent interview that Crawler will defend his WBA world title against Ismael Barroso. What do you think of the fight, considering what Barroso did to Kevin Mitchell in his last fight, December 12th, and Crawler in his last two fights against Darlis Perez?
Mate,
how do you think that one turns out?
It's a difficult one for me, and I'll tell you why, right? I've always been a bit critical of Crawler. I've always viewed him as a British level fighter. And I've picked against him. You know, I thought Darlis Perez would beat him. I've really not rated Crawler. And I actually met Crawler in person recently. And I've got to say, you know, a lot of people use the phrase nicest guy in boxing. It's an overused phrase. This guy genuinely is the nicest guy in boxing. You know, Crawler is a lovely, lovely, lovely guy. I'd love him to do well. I've got to be honest, Barroso, he looks a class above for me. Class above. Crawler, he's not someone you'd be scared of, is he? You know, Barroso's not sitting there worrying about Crawler at night. For me, Kevin Mitchell, I know Kevin Mitchell's had his problems, and I know Kevin Mitchell never made it to world title, but he's a better fighter than Crawler. You know, and it hurts me to say it because I was so impressed by Crawler when I met him, but for me, Barroso wins the fight.
Yeah, I'd agree, Barroso. I mean, it's hard to say because when he came over, I thought he'd be like a plodder, but he had really intelligent footwork. He's not like amazing, really fast, like a Mir Khan. Sorry, not Mir Khan. You know, Kell Brooks, someone who has really good footwork. But he had similar to GGG. Like he cut off the ring. He knew what he was doing. He picked his shots. He utilize the jab. He utilized a straight left. He knocked down Mitchell with a jab. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
And I mean, Crawler, although he probably has a better chin than Mitchell, does he have the skills to put, you know, to put any sort of fear into Barroso? I don't think so. I like Crawler, but I just don't think he has the power to keep someone like Barroso off of him. And Barroso can change it up. He can counter punch from the southpaw stance. He can come in and, you know, do the different things that Crawler hasn't seen before. So yeah, I think Barroso wins that fight. I think mid to late stoppage, I'd say. Not the nicest decision, I know, because Crawler's he's a really nice guy, but it's just you have to say it as you see it. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely. This is the toughest fight of Crawler's career by some margin.
Yeah. Did you see any chance that you saw George Groves his appeal to the WBC of Callum Smith's final eliminator European?
Yeah. I don't know what George Groves is going on about, really. Wasn't it only 2 fights ago that he was getting beaten in the WBC title fight? I mean, surely he's got to, you know, take a step back, have a few combat fights first. I mean, I don't know what he's going on about, really.
What do you make of it? I mean, he's number 3, I think, in the ranking. Callum Smith's number 1, or he's number 2 or something. Callum Smith's 1, and George Groves is 2 or 3, and Mohammadi is number 6. I think that's what Eddie Hearn was saying. So yeah, what do you think? Like, why do you think? Obviously, I think he's done that because he's trying to get in position for a rematch with Jack, or the Jack and Chavez fight, because I think that's signed now. And obviously, it's been the other way around. Smith's always been chasing Groves. Now it's Groves chasing Smith. So what do you think of that fight? If that fight does happen, what do you think could happen in that fight?
Do you know what? Yeah, I think it's Groves. You know, Groves strikes me as quite a moaning, complaining guy at the best of times, to be honest. What I would say right now, I know this is completely contrary to popular belief, but if it was Callum Smith versus George Groves, I would be picking George Groves very, very strongly. You know, Callum Smith is a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. But for me, he's a typical Joe Gallagher fighter. He's got no head movement. He's quite upright. He's quite stiff. You know, for me, George Groves is a far more explosive, dynamic fighter. And I just think he would find gaps in the Callum Smith defence quite swiftly. And potentially, I think he could knock Callum Smith out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think so too. Groves, I think his performances against the top tier guys. Well, the first Froch fight, obviously we know. Yeah. The second Froch fight, he was still decent, but you know, one Hail Mary punch knocked out. Duglin, Brass, Jack. You know, I mean, the top fighters, he performed with credit. Let's say that, but he's lost to top people. I mean, Callum Smith has obviously beaten Serge Locker and Brass and those sort of people, but they're not highlighting the deficiencies he has. As he said, he's massive for the weight. So at any time, if he's struggling to make weight, he could become weight drained. No head movement. He doesn't vary his punches much. He likes to go to the body a lot more than to his head. So he has a lot of deficiencies. I think he's been matched really carefully. But then again, you could say the same as because he's Joe Gallagher fight. You could say the same with Scott Quigg. I mean, you know, if you look at it from that perspective, and now he has a massive fight as well. So you never know. I don't know how that fight's going to go if we go to the Scott Quigg Frampton fight. I don't know how that's going to go. It's a tough fight to choose.
Yeah.
Tough fight.
It's real tough.
It's really tough.
That could go either way.
Think about it.
Either way. I'm picking Frampton, I think. Just on boxing pedigree.
Yeah. The thing is, I've always thought Frampton would win. I've never been like a fan of both of them because I prefer to see one of them in with a rigger down.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they lose, at least they come up with credit saying, look, I've stepped in against a pound-for-pound star and one of the best in the division, and I lost. Fair enough, it happens. But I mean, I always thought Frampton would win, and I would always pick him. But I just think quick momentum's on his side. I think Frampton could be hurt. I mean, and if Frampton goes out and he fights how he did in his last fight, like he did against Gonzalez, then he's in a world of hurt against Quigg, who's a bigger puncher. I think he's as big a puncher as Frampton, if not bigger, because of his size and his natural height at the weight. He's massive. But apparently, there's been a lot of rumours that Scott Quigg is struggling to make weight, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I've heard some rumours. Frampton was struggling to make weight, but Quigg looks like the bigger out of the two for me.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think Eddie was saying it anyway. He was like, well, the winner of the IBF belt has to face Shingo Quigg, and the winner of the WBA belt has to face Rigo. So he doesn't know how it's going to work. So they're going to have to drop one of the belts. But if they're struggling at the weight, as they say they do, they might as well just move up. So, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Quigg McDonald if Quigg were to win.
Who do you have in that fight? Jamie. Is that Jamie or
No, Jamie, I reckon. I reckon they'll move the Visions and try and make that into a big fight because, you know, I'd probably pick Quigg. Probably.
Over Jamie McDonald?
Yeah, probably. It's difficult. It's a clash of styles, isn't it?
Yeah, I disagree with you there, man. I think Jamie will school him, man. I've just a better engine, really good punch output. He varies the jab. You know, he's as good a version of Frampton with the height and, you know, the natural fitness and everything. I think he's just as good as him, if anything. He's come on a lot. I think he's facing Juan Carlos Payano, the WBA super champion at bantamweight, because they're trying to amalgamate the belts now. So I think if he gets that belt, he might get a unification fight against maybe Yamanaka, WBC champion, and maybe move up. I hope he does. His brother, I know, Gavin, has got final eliminator for the WBC.
Yeah.
For that title at super bantamweight. So he might get Gavin McDonald maybe. You might get Gavin McDonald as a unification if one of them win and stay at the weight. We never know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Gavin McDonald doesn't have that star power. I more think like if Quigg were to lose, Eddie Hearn might use Gavin McDonald as a comeback fight. I don't see the winner going on to fight Gavin McDonald. I just don't think he brings enough to the table at this stage.
Yeah, he's not a big name or anything like that. He doesn't get a lot of money.
No, so, he's just known as the worst twin, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's harsh but true, you know? Yeah.
No, I totally agree. He's not good. Let's just put it that way. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins a world title. Let's put it that way, because there's so many belts, but that doesn't mean he's the best in the division. He wouldn't even be in the top 5 in the division. He's just not that good. There's I forgot. James DeGale's got another mandatory. If you've heard, he's got a different mandatory.
Okay.
IBF mandatory.
Who's that against?
Medina, someone like that.
Oh,
He's got 6
yeah.
losses on his record.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen him fight. You know.
Yeah, I've never seen this kid fight. I'll be totally honest. I've never seen him fight, but I mean, he's got 6 losses on his record, and never really heard of him. The guy he was supposed to face, the Bolivian dude, he pulled out with illness, so I'm not sure if that fight will be in the States or the UK, because Eddie Hearn's now saying that the April 9th card won't have as much as it did before, because obviously they have to pay Charles Martin a lot of money now. So
yeah, it's going to have Frank Buglioni on it, that card, isn't it?
You reckon Frank Buglioni to?
Yeah. So well, Buglioni and Warren have parted ways, and Eddie Hearn said there's going to be a newcomer on his bill for April 9th. So I presume, I know Warren wanted to extend Buglioni, so I'm presuming Buglioni only quit because he had a better offer, you know. So it's got to be Eddie, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, where does he go? Like at light heavy, he doesn't go anywhere because he's moved up now. He'll get slaughtered by even the top 20 guys. He's not good enough.
He's got no chance at light heavyweight. No. He got knocked out by Kamitsky, who is a 160-pounder. You know, like what's he gonna do at 175? You know, and his trainer, honestly, like I don't think I've ever seen worse corner work than his trainer. You know, his trainer's telling him he's a defensive master and he's just boxing perfect. You know, Buglioni doesn't know what defense is, mate. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's a ticket seller. Let's put it that. That's
like
it. Josh Warrington.
Yeah,
he's like Josh. Josh Warrington's just a ticket seller. Let's just be honest. Even Josh Warrington even admitted it in his video in his IFL interview. He goes, "Yeah, I'm a ticket seller with no power." it's embarrassing. I mean, like I know he's Warrington's facing Amagasa next, but Buglioni, I mean, he's shocking, man. I mean, he Cleverly will annihilate him. I'd even go out on a limb and say Cleverly will knock him out late in the fight. That's how bad I think Buglioni is.
Yeah.
He's poor. I mean, did you see Parker's Buglioni versus Cleverly? Someone just put it. David Price nearly got killed of some cab driver.
Yeah.
We were talking about David Price. What do you think of David Price and Dave Coldwell? Terrible. You know. Yes.
David Price needed to do 2 things. He needed to leave Liverpool, and he needed to work on his defence. You know, Dave Coldwell, nice guy, but he's a fitness trainer, isn't he? He's not. I mean, look at Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew is the most inept defence I've ever seen, and yet David Price has chose the man who trains Tony Bellew. You know, it's crazy. Yeah, I think we lost you there, mate. Jet, you with us?
Sorry?
Oh, we lost you there for a second, mate. You right?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just can't believe he's chosen the guy who taught Tony Bellew his defence. You know, he needs a heavyweight trainer who understands heavyweight boxing and who understands how to teach a fighter defence for me.
Yeah, I mean, what trainers are out there though in heavyweight boxing?
Mate, he should have gone to the States, shouldn't he? Wasn't he with Ronnie Shields for a time and then sacked it off because he wanted home comforts?
Yeah, then he was with Adam Booth, and then Adam Booth said Adam Booth wanted a lot of money, obviously, and then obviously he left him as well. So
yeah,
you just got. I don't know. You just gotta think. You just gotta. One second. Yeah, you just gotta think. Accept that he's a lost cause. I mean, he'll always have power, but he'll always be cheating at the top level. I mean, anyone who's top 20, top 30 will knock him out. He's not got the chin. He's not got the jab. I mean, it's hard to say because he's an Olympic bronze medalist, but it doesn't. In the grand scheme of things, the amateurs and the pros are 2 different things. You can't think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly right, isn't it? He's too stiff. He's defensively open. He's not got any sort of looseness or elasticity in his game. He's there to be stopped, isn't he? Jet, I must crack on, mate. I must get back to rolling it. But no, thanks very much as always, mate.
No worries, man. Thanks for giving me a shout out right at the start. I really appreciate that, man. Hopefully we can do something like what you did with Ultra Tech Sport soon.
Yeah, mate. Anytime. I'm about all next week, so just drop me a line and we'll get something sorted, mate. Definitely.
Okay, cool, man. Nice one. Thanks for that, mate.
All the best, Jet. Cheers, mate. Have a good evening.
You too, man. I'll be watching.
Cheers.
See ya.
So thanks as always to Jet for calling in. Jet's kind of become our sort of regular caller. I want to get a few regular callers. You know, people who come on week in, week out, Thursday nights, 8 o'clock. So if you're watching live, give me a hand on Skype. My Skype is boxing.gossip. Anyone can call in. We'll get you straight on. As soon as you call in, we'll get you live. If you're watching live, hit the thumbs up button. Help support the channel. Help me broadcast this to a wider audience. And if you're watching live and you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. But yeah, lots of stuff to talk about. You know, that call kind of highlighted it, just how much is going on in the sport at present. You know, for me, the Frank Buglioni thing, you know, I don't see him making it a light heavyweight. And I don't know. Clearly, he's being offered some big financial incentive from Eddie Hearn, but it was a big decision to leave Frank Warren. You know, Frank Warren did a real good job for Buglioni. Buglioni got knocked out badly by Kamitsky. Buglioni got, you know, he dropped a draw to Lee Markham. You know, Lee Markham, let's be honest, he's a decent fighter, but no one's really heard of him in terms of a world level fighter. And then Warren got him straight into a world title fight. You know, I don't know how much Buglioni earned. I don't know if Buglioni did particularly well out of it. You know, obviously, they were paying a world champion to come to his backyard, so it's not going to be cheap. But yeah, for me, it's you know, that was a big move for him. And now that Buglioni's declared that he wants to step up to light heavyweight, I just don't know. I don't see who Eddie Hearn's got in his stable to match Buglioni up with. I know Buglioni's going to sell a lot of tickets. I presume now that Chris Eubank Jr. has left Eddie Hearn, they're going to try and use Buglioni as like a sort of co-main event fighter for Anthony Joshua. You know, sells a lot of tickets, got a bit of a name. You know, he gets involved in entertaining fights. He's like an entertaining guy. So maybe that's the plan for him. Just looking to the chat. Sam Dawson, Tom, what did you think of the AJ interview on Sky earlier today? He sounds confident about outboxing Martin. He said fast hands, good feet and movement. I would say that's some of his weaknesses. Sam, I didn't see the interview with Anthony Joshua, so I can't comment on that. Yeah, I've never seen Anthony Joshua come out and box in a fight, though. Charles Martin's more of a boxer for me. Shane Williams said if Hearn has his way, it would be all British boxing and the rest of the world doesn't matter. Too Fast Fury is talking about Tim Bradley having too many concussions. Yeah, and then there's a few other comments going back and forth. But yeah, let's get someone else in. If you're watching, give us a call. We'll get you straight live on air. Just add me on Skype, boxing.gossip. Cam says, good, so mate. Thanks very much. Hacker Time says, question, Tom. Do you think amateur pedigree is relevant in the Martin versus AJ fight? Not at all. Not at all for this particular fight. You know, AJ, Olympic gold medalist. I don't view AJ as like a real thinking fighter in the same sense I view Charles Martin. Charles Martin, as I've said before, he reminds me of Tony Thompson. He's like a sort of wiser, more veteran type fighter, despite the fact he's early on in his careers. You know, Charles Martin's going to come out, he's going to have a look at AJ. He's going to work the range. He's going to work the angles. He's going to work the stance. AJ's more like a sort of bull in a china shop for me. Come forward, loads of bombs. I don't see this being an amateur pedigree fight, really. Dan says, a good show. Thanks, Dan. Jacob says, any opinion about Martin is based on the eye test. Yeah, but so is any opinion about Anthony Joshua, Jacob. I mean, when was the last time Anthony Joshua beat a top 30 fighter? I mean, let's be honest. I know the Glazkov fight was controversial due to the ending, but Glazkov was widely regarded as a top 10 fighter before that. And I personally had Charles Martin 3-0 up before the injury. You know, Charles Martin was outboxing the top 10 fighter Charles Martin was outboxing an Olympic medalist in Glasgow. Charles Martin was outboxing the elite amateur pedigree boxer. So, you know, what's Anthony Joshua actually done in the pros? You know, Wesley says rank Huey Fury, White, Price, and Chisora for us. Chisora at the top. Huey Fury second, Price third, White fourth. But that's because when I do my rankings, I rank in terms of form, not eye test. So Chisora's top because he's got the best wins. The likes of Malik Scott, Edmund Gerber, you know, big fights with Vitaly Klitschko, Helenius, where he performed well. Huey Fury second because of the Rudenko win. White third, you know, Price third. Price is beating some decent-ish opposition. Andre Parler, Audley Harrison, Sam Sexton, John McDermott, you know, those kind of level of guys. Dillian White, I like Dillian White, but he hasn't beaten the opposition yet to be ranked higher than those guys for me. Cam says, AJ loses this fight as he doesn't jab. He will still be in bully mode and waste his energy early. Martin will take him out late. Yeah, I don't disagree. Martin, he's gone late in fights. He starts a bit slower, has a bit more of a look. He's a bit more patient. And I don't think AJ will be able to bully because of the range. Gaz says amateur pedigree only makes a difference when it's 200 plus fights of experience. Oliver said, I had a good day on roulette today. I will be donating £500 to you, mate. Spend it wisely. Oliver, that'd be very kind of you if you were to donate £500 to me. I'll believe it when I see it, but thanks very much in advance of that hitting my PayPal. You know, that's very, very good of you. Hacker time. I've argued that point out with so many people, but I agree amateur pedigree is not relevant. Wesley, could Huey beat Chisora and Hamer this year? Absolutely, I'd pick him over both. Dan, Martin reminds me of a zombie that's been dragged from a swamp. He's a bum. Stop kidding yourself. Well, I don't think he's a bum. I've been talking about Charles Martin on this channel for 2 years now. I've been talking about him before he won his belt, before he was anywhere near winning his belt. I've spoken to Charles Martin in person several times. He's a thinking man's fighter. This is a guy who sits down and analyzes fights and fighters. He's a clever guy, trust me. Jet says, sorry, had to do something on the call. It was otherwise great, mate. No worries at all, Jet. Thanks, as always, for calling in. Your continued participation is much appreciated. Hacker Time says, Martin either takes him late or catches him with a counter early. Either way, I think his bet's good. Charles Martin's a good bet from value. I do think there's a very substantial chance that Joshua finishes him early. Jet says he ranted on too long, didn't cover many topics. Not at all. Not at all. I always say on this particular show, we don't need to be too rigid about it. You know, we can, we can just let the conversation develop as it does naturally. Turan says Huey does nothing for Chisora. Agreed. Maybe after if he loses to Pulev though. Jacob says Parker needs to come to UK or US for his career. I agree. Daniel says any thoughts on the top 10 opponent Huey Fury will be fighting? I don't believe it will be a top 10 opponent. I've heard Andre Fedosov. I've heard Shannon Briggs. Who knows? But I don't see it being someone from the top 10. Jet says Huey's fighting on the Eubank Blackwell undercard. Oliver Anthony says, do you fancy McGregor to beat RDA? Probably, but I don't follow MMA closely enough, to be honest, to come up with a real opinion on that, to be honest, mate. Have you sent the 500 just out of interest, Oliver? Gaz says, who is Joseph Parker's next fight going to be against? I would guess Christian Hamer. I'm hearing a lot of rumours it's going to be Christian Hamer. Wesley says Warren needs to promote Parker in the UK, fights versus Sexton, Towers, etc. Very good exposure. Totally agree. So I'm chatting about Butterbean. Stevie says, all right, boxing gossip, just made it in for a day at work. The bastards maybe missed the beginning of your stream. Well, thanks for joining, Stevie. Hacker time, Pop needs to get out of New Zealand. Yeah, we're all agreeing there. We all agree in there. Jet says, Christopher, can you and your friend do boxing? I don't get that one. Sorry, Jet. Stevie says, is Adam Smith on the stream tonight? No, sadly not. Sadly not. Titus loves Pop. I heard butterbeans on Peds. Gaz says butterbeans on pies. Cam, GAFC, what do you think is the best tactic to beat AJ? Try and catch him early or take him out late? Take him out late. It's the same for any fighter who starts very fast, like a Luis Ortiz or someone like that. Use a bit of movement, frustrate them, judge the range, bank some shots to the body, take them into uncharted territory, catch them late. Oliver Anthony, a guy PM'd me saying he works with you on that side of things, so deposited with him. Oh no, we've been scammed, Oliver. That is disappointing because I was going to treat myself to a Chinese and a pint on you, Oliver. But you know, what can we do? Boxing discuss Jet says he meant us to do 2 separate videos and discussing some topics. Yeah, well, I'm very happy to come on your channel next week, Jet. Maybe, as we say, that'd be good. SCS Sports, have I heard anything about when Cleverly's next fighting? I haven't, no. Troy is saying have a day off, Oliver. Oh, it's all good fun, isn't it? If he'd said he was going to transfer me a tenner, I'd think, oh, get in. But 500, yeah, I wasn't ever too hopeful, to be honest. Dan, do I think Ricky Burns should retire? Look, I wouldn't necessarily say I think Ricky Burns should retire. He's still performing at a decent level, credibly. And it comes down to whether he wants to fight or not for me. I must admit, I'm less interested in seeing him fight for now. And, you know, I know Ricky Burns has some financial problems, so clearly that's always going to be a factor. Ben Lowe says, who are the next opponents for David Haye and Hughie Fury? For David Haye, I'm thinking Shannon Briggs or Malik Scott. For Hughie Fury, I'm thinking like Fedosov, maybe. I heard Ustinov today, maybe. He's got that kind of level of guy. Jet's going to message me on Twitter. Would love to get me on the channel. 100%, I'm down. Cam says, am I on the Hatman boxing group? Yes, I am. Jet says, Tommy Martin moved down to lightweight. Yeah, absolutely. He weighed in light against John Wayne Hibbard. He looked small against John Wayne Hibbard. And I thought he got out-muscled and out-strength. That would be a very positive move. I don't know what he was doing at light welter in the first place. Daniel Archer. So many AJ fanboys in here, it makes me laugh. What's he done? Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. You know, I get frustrated with it. AJ is a good fighter. I'm probably too critical against Anthony Joshua, and I need to change that in my vids going forward, I think. But I do feel it. You know, you have so many fans just spouting nonsense about he's the best ever heavyweight and all this stuff, and it can turn people against him. Wesley says, what's next for Liam Smith? You know, I don't know. I wonder if he'll have to fight someone in the front Warren stable again. Doesn't seem to be easy to get a big fight for him. Dan Max says, what does AJ need to do to become world class? Work on the jab, use it more, use it better. Tighten up defensively. You know, not be so hittable, not be so stiff. Be a bit more instinctive defensively. Not panic when the bullets are coming your way. And prove top class stamina and top class chin. Hacker Time says he'll donate when his bet comes in. Fury wins, Bradley wins, Canelo wins, Martin by KO. Bloody hell. Let's hope so. It could happen. That's not a bad bet, you know. That's not a crazy bet. It isn't actually a crazy bet. Yeah. Jet. Jalen Love versus Rocky Fielding in autumn. Freddie and Floyd want to fight. Thoughts? I don't rate Jalen Love. I don't think Rocky Fielding is underrated based on that loss. I pick Rocky Fielding. Brutals has said Selby on the AJ Martin undercard. Possibly, but I don't think they've got a big budget. And with Selby being a world champion, they'll want payday. Terence says, I'm only backing Martin because he gives you interviews. I've never done an interview with Martin, Terence. Not once. Not once. So, as much as I like you, Terence, you are slightly mistaken there, my friend. Jet says Selby's got a mandatory v Eric Hunter. Mike says AJ looks manufactured in his movements. I see him coming up stuck against someone like Fury. You can adapt and move naturally. 100% agree, Mike. Spot on. Oliver says, what do I think of the Island boxing weigh-in shooting? Oliver, it's a hard question, that. There isn't much I can say. I mean, what do I think on it? I think on it the same as everyone else. You know, it's tragic. It's a disaster. It shouldn't have happened. I don't have any unique insight into it, so I'm not going to talk about it in more detail. Gaz, AJ isn't a natural fighter. Totally agree. Tyson Fury's a natural fighter. AJ is not. Mike, do you give Fearfane a chance against Broner? You know, Fearfane on his day is a good boxer, maybe underrated. I don't give him too much of a chance against Broner. Broner is a real slick boxer. Broner is very, very talented, and he's classier than Fearfane for me. The reason Broner got found out, for my money, was because he kept moving up to 147 and fighting guys who were so much bigger and stronger who could maul him. I don't think Fearfane's going to be able to do that. Jet says Selby versus Warrington. Easy. I mean, easy. There's so much gap between those two. You know, that is 12-0 scorecard win. B-Boy Howie, I think when push comes to shove, AJ may not have the heart to dig deep and grind out a win. We shall see. Terence says, I thought you said you've spoken to him twice. Yeah, I've spoken to Martin several times, but I've never recorded it. Jet says, Postal booty man at 140, you reckon? Crawford pound for pound, but Victor goes under the radar. Yeah, I don't really rate Postal so much. Obviously, there's the Matisse win, but that was a bit. It's hard to work out how strong that form was for me. I think Postal is beatable. Jacob, can Box Nation make a pay-per-view fight this year? I thought they would with Saunders Eubank. That's not happening. Saunders Golovkin? Who knows? Taran says reckons Andrew Selby will be a champ. He looks a hot prospect. Dan says, in my opinion, who's the best British prospect? Who excites? Probably Hughie Fury. Gaz says the shooting in Ireland is what happens when you have a gym sponsored by gangsters. I'll be honest, I just don't know the ins and outs, so I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know the details, I'm afraid. Cam says Selby Warrington is a competitive fight. I'm not sure. Damien says Furman versus Porter. Who do I pick? Porter. Stylistically, I don't think Furman's going to like it up close. I think Furman's going to be tight at the weight. I think if Collazo could hurt Furman, Porter's going to stop him. Stevie, I get the feeling Eddie Hearn is striking when the iron is hot with AJ and is still worth big money as he's completely U-turned on his rhetoric from last year and developing him slowly. Yeah, I agree. He's focusing on that pay-per-view model and maximising the revenue from that. Laugh Out Loud TV, can Khan beat Canelo? No. Too big a size difference. Khan is defensively weak. He can outbox him for a few rounds. He doesn't have the defensive game to stay away for 12. Ben Lowe, will Fury fight Vlad next? Yes, Peter Fury confirmed it today. Check it out. Sprutal says Furman for me. Furman could outbox Porter, but I think Porter will wear him down. Boxing greatness. Says you're too hard on AJ. Been pro a minute and compared to Mike Tyson and Lewis. Well, he's fighting for a world championship, so we've got to compare him to world championship level. I've never compared him to Lewis or Tyson once. Jet, I don't know about that one in enough detail, mate, to comment. Mike says Huey could do with leaving Hennessy. His profile is terrible. Yeah, they brought him along slowly. He won't ever leave Hennessy because of the, the family links, I guess. Dan Max says he thinks I'm being really harsh on AJ. Look, people disagree with me. That's fine. Boxing would be boring if we all agreed, but that's my opinion. Mike says Box Nation should come in for Huey Fury, make him a flagship. B-boy Howie, how do you see Chudinov's Stern fight going? Point to him for Chudinov. Yeah, I agree. Chudinov's a solid fighter, underrated. Sturmy hitting on a bit, I'd be with Chudinov. Damien, who do you pick Brook against if he fought Porter again? Brook. I think he's got the beating of Porter. Daniel Archer, Boxing Gossip. Do you think AJ Hearn ducked a Parker call up? Absolutely not. It's completely the wrong time for a Parker fight. Totally bad idea. The money isn't there yet. You know, not a sensible fight at all. You know, Mike says he'd pick Huey to beat AJ now. Gaz says, what's the odds Hearn is already trying to team up British boxers for AJ replacements? Yeah, I totally agree. That's why David Price is returning. You know, they've already made no secret Derek Chisora would get a voluntary title shot if he were to win. They've talked Huey Fury. I totally agree, guys. Jet says Chudinov against the other world champs, thinks he loses to all of them. I agree. He's probably the weakest, but I think he's better than Stern. Turan says Parker's still a prospect. I agree. Jacob Roberts, you should do a video comparing Frost to Calzaghe legacies. We've discussed that many times in the past, but yeah, on Team Calzaghe. Oliver says Eddie Hearn is well dressed. Let's give him that. Well, Oliver, if you donate me that £500 you promised, I'll make sure I'm well dressed for you in future as well. Mike says he's missing the Adam Smith banter. Yeah, he let me down. Spruitle says opinion on Bizier. Can he trouble Brook? My opinion on Bizier is simple. He lost several times to Jojo Down. Enough said. Guys, let's get someone else on the phones. It's great that Jet called in, but let's try and get more people calling in. I always feel it makes better viewing. There's 58 of you watching. If you're watching, please hit the thumbs up button. Does one of the 58 of you want to call in? Let's get some chat going. Terence says he got Oliver's 500. He's at the bar now. Good luck to you, Terence. Boxing Jet says Glowacki versus Cunningham. What are your thoughts? It's a good fight. Cunningham, he's been in a few wars. I'd probably side with Glowacki. Yeah, I'd probably side with Glowacki. Who do you pick in that one, Jet? Troy is asking if the fantasy fight videos are with Adam. Well, I'll tell you something about Adam. He's flaky at the best of times. He is. He's not someone you can trust with your life, I'm afraid. He's someone who disappears off the scene for a few days, becomes uncontactable. So, yeah, we shall see. He's promised me he'll do them, but I believe it when I see it. Wesley says, Triple G versus Hopkins. Who wins at super middleweight? Triple G. Hopkins, 51 years old. He's a big guy now. Cutting weight won't be good for him. Turan says Spence versus Algieri. Good fight. Algieri underrated. Spence maybe overrated. Probably side with Spence, however. Jet's picking Glowacki. He's a solid fighter, but he was losing to Huck. Yeah, I mean, that's a good card, actually. That's a good card. Huck versus Afolabi. Fourth fight for the IBO title. I'll probably go with Huck in that one. I just feel that Huck may come again, whereas Afolabi, I know he's got a title, some sort of title, and he's put some good performances together, but yeah, I kind of feel that Afolabi's got a lot of miles on the clock. Obviously, Huck does as well, but I'd side with Huck. Dan says a lot of hardcore fans have jealousy issues regarding AJ. Thing is, Dan, right, and I'm not being critical to you here, just in general, if someone disagrees with your opinion, like, I've always been one to respect other people's opinions, right? Just because I disagree with you on AJ doesn't mean I'm jealous. This is a sport where you have to develop your own opinions, you know, and opinions are what makes the sport interesting. Wesley says, how does Billy Jozier play matchmaker for us? Very good question. Very good question. I've got a feeling he may fight Tommy Lamford, because I think the Eubank Junior fight's going away, and I don't think he wants the Golovkin fight. I'm not sure what other big options are out there. I wonder if he'll fight Tommy Lamford and then maybe fight Triple G later on in the year. I think it's possible. Oliver says, if AJ loses, then what? Retire? No, AJ's a good fighter. This is just early for him. If he loses, start again. build yourself up, fight the right type of opponents, and you know, like build your career in a sensible manner. Stevie, how many years do you give Triple G at its peak? Good question. Can't be more than 2 or 3. Tehran says AJ will have enough money to retire. Yes, he will. Jet says Elida Alvarez versus Artur Beterbiev. Very tough fight. I'm a huge fan of Alvarez. I'd probably pick Alvarez. You know, I'm yet to be convinced by Beterbiev. Big puncher, but is he too tight at the weight? Can he be outboxed? Is he chinny? You never know. Gaz says if AJ loses, it's panto for Christmas at him. Daniel, I would call in boxing gossip, but I work afternoons. Can you do a weekend call in sometime? I've been banned from doing the weekend calls in by my missus, sadly. But who knows? Maybe in future if she dumps me or something like that. Tehran is saying AJ will get a WBC slot eventually. I don't think he really cares which belt it is. SCS Sports, Rose versus Macklin should be nowhere near a pay-per-view card. Yeah, maybe undercard pay-per-view, but co-main event. But yeah, not a headliner, I agree. Wesley, AJ has jumped the European scene and development fights. A lot of money has been jumped over. Yeah, because of this pay-per-view model. Makes good money, dangerous for a fighter's development. Sane says AJ puts too much into physique, not enough into boxing skill sets. Yep. Tivatap, hello Tivatap, says he's just joined. Jet, what's your opinions on Lomachenko v Santa Cruz? Very tough fight, like both guys. I think Lomachenko is top draw. I'd go with him. Oliver Anthony, do you cuts wind? Do you? Yeah, I don't think Tony Bentley was having a crack at Joshua personally. I think it was more defending David Price, who's a mate of his. Tivatap, what's the thoughts been on the winner of AJ Martin in the chat? We're split, Tivatap. A lot of people thinking Martin, a lot of people AJ. People seem to be very certain. You know, for me, I'm a bit on the fence. I could go either way, but people have definite opinions either way. Cam, would you criticise De Gale and BJS? Are you happy as they're happy to win on points? No, not at all. For me, it's all about winning. Simple as that. Jet. Louis Santa Cruz versus Gary Russell Jr. Louis Santa Cruz, big guy. You know, Gary Russell's had some losses. Wesley says Bellew is a tit. D-Boy Howie, do you think the sort heavyweights, Oscar Rivas and George Arias, can win more titles? I think it's unlikely. You know, Povetkin versus Klitschko is the reason why sort heavyweights are really going to struggle. Jay's messaged me on Skype. He says, what do you think of Frank Bruno's comments on making an unlikely return? AJ Martin will be anti-climax. I don't think Bruno will return, Jay. He said that a few times and not done it. He often calls out the British fighter of the minute. You know, he's 54. He's had health issues. He's not going to get licensed. He's not going to be in fights, really. They wouldn't be interested in seeing him in fights either. Stevie, I completely agree. The pay-per-view versus White has backed AJ into a corner a bit. Jet says no more callers down. May as well have a chat again. Yeah, we've not done too well on the callers today. It's disappointing. I was getting into the swing of getting 5 or 6 people on, but yeah, people seem to be too nervous tonight. Karan says, how many pay-per-views will they sell in April? Good question, Taran. Everyone, give me your predictions. How many pay-per-views? Let me start the ball rolling. I'm going 600. Dan, should I consider competitive boxing if I'm over 75? Only joking. Jet says same amount of pay-per-views as December 12th. I think it'll be more, actually. Gaz, do you think Hearn's been greasing the palms ahead of the AJ fight? No comment. Luke, I think AJ will win the belt, then lose it due to lack of proper experience. He'll come back a better fighter. Sensible comment. Don't disagree. Jacob, Povetkin knocks Wilder out. Cam says, I would ring, but I'm off for a run. Tehran says, 500,000 buys. Jet says, don't worry, he'll call in every Thursday. He's the regular caller. Yeah, that's it, Jet. That's it. We'll get you on This is it. You become a fixture, mate. Wesley says 400k for White. We'll be looking at 750k buys minimum. I disagree because I think the beef between AJ and White really helps sell it, whereas I don't think there'll be the same beef between AJ and Martin. Ben Lowe says, will Vitali ever come back? No, mate. Vitali was starting to look like he decreased in ability towards the end of his career. He'd be a skeleton of himself now after the inactivity in his mid-40s. Oliver Anthony, boxing isn't about taking it slow and developing. The armchair analyst can salivate over the development of fighters, but the fighter wants to get in and get out with the most cash possible. Yeah, but you're not looking at it the right way, Oliver. If AJ fights Martin, yeah, he'll make a few quid fighting Martin, but if he gets chinned, he'll make less cash than if he fought Martin in a year's time and beat him. You know, AJ's not struggling to feed himself tomorrow. He should look at it more as a long-time game. Jet says Povetkin looks like he's on the roids. No comment, but can't disagree. Dominic, do I see Parker winning a title next year? Not yet. I need to see more from him. If AJ wins, who is next? Derek Chisora or David Price would be my guess. Domestic voluntaries. Stevie, I think Hearn and Heyman are working towards an AJ Wilder super fight. I think Fury Wilder more likely. Turan, Oliver's right, all about the money. It should be nowadays. Yeah, it's about the long game. I'm not saying it's not about money, but it should be about money over the course of a career, not money over the course of a month. You can make more money in a career than in one fight. Jet thinks Parker may win a belt. I'm not so sure. Gaz saying Povetkin isn't on Peds. Sam, what fight would you currently most like to see in any weight division? Brooke Khan, Kovalev Ward, Fury Wilder. Actually, no, Fury Anthony Joshua. I'd get properly hyped for that. Time kicking himself, he missed Povetkin in his bet. Taran thinks AJ versus Wilder will do 1 million buys. Wow. Wow. Dan Mack, is there any chance of getting a pro boxer on your show? You know, I've spoken to a lot of boxers. I could get some interviews. I'm kind of need to make a decision as to whether I want to go down the interview route or not. I think the difficulty is once you start interviewing fighters, it's hard to remain neutral. It's hard to interview a fighter and then pick against them. And it's something I need to consider. Oliver Anthony, AJ could get chinned in any fight. Just look at David Price. He could. He's more likely to get chinned if he takes fights like this without the necessary prep. Wesley, does AJ versus Fury or Hay pass 1 million buys? Yes, I think it could do. Jet, you must be joking. Did you see him versus... Oh, he's talking about Povetkin. B-Boy Howie, many thought Lennox Lewis challenged for a title early. In comparison, it was late. Yeah. Dominic, can Hay beat Klitschko in a rematch? Yes, but only because Klitschko's getting old. He couldn't beat a Pete Klitschko. Jim Jones says AJ versus Wilder, Fury or Hay easily does over 1 million. Boxing greatness, Fury destroys Joshua. Shouldn't happen this year. I agree. Box Jet says Wilder versus Fury would do more than Wilder versus Joshua. I agree. Gerald says why do most heavyweights look fat? Probably because you've got to be over 200 pounds to be a heavyweight, I'd guess. Mark says, shout out to Boxing Gossip, watching live from the desert in the Middle East, 6-month tour over in a matter of days, always tuning in. Mark, music to my ears. It brings a smile to my face, it genuinely does. All the best to you and your mates out there. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Jacob, Martin is at the same stage of development as Joshua, so a fight a year from now would be the same outcome. No, Jacob, no, that's not the case. Because if they had 3 or 4 more fights each, they might learn different things and have different results. So, you know, can't say that. Jet, I like your analysis videos, mate. Stick with that and the occasional interview here and there, but that's my opinion. That's my instinct, Jet, yeah. Wesley, if AJ wins the title, will Wembley become his permanent home? No, because Wembley's got other factors, like it's very weather dependent, for example. You can't do it in the middle of winter. Daniel Arthur, do you think Golovkin will ever hold all the middleweight world title belts? Long wait, I think. Do you think he needs to move up to super middle? I don't think I'll hold them all because I don't think the WBC will let him. I think they favour their champions too much. I don't think he should move up to super middle. I don't think he's big enough. I don't think he'll be as effective. DLB and Uli, Just can't see how Martin lost more than 2 rounds. If he can take away the range from Anthony Joshua, that's the question. Dan Mack, why has British boxing revitalised the sport? Probably too long a question for me to get into now. Matt Berry, yes, the comments are too much to handle. I'm not going to talk about Oliver Anthony because I don't know. Wesley, or Wesley even, should Ryan walk Skeet out versus Eggington and deck him and his team out in Box Nation apparel? Probably not, because it might stop future fights, but yes, it would be funny. Cam, does having fraught style rely on a granite chin, or could a fight with less punch resistance pull it off? No, it relies on having a granite chin, definitely. Anytime, bro. I would call in, mate, if I wasn't stoned out of my nut. Well, thanks for tuning in anyway. Daniel Arches, I have a spider on my shoulder. Gerald, do you think that White will do well on the world stage? Not from what I've seen so far, mate. No, he's too raw, too green, not technical enough, not defensive enough, bit of a blunt instrument at this stage. Dominic, how long till we see a Hay title fight? I'm thinking 2017. Jet, why does light middleweight get overlooked? Some exceptional fighters. I think it's because all the fighters seem to be like real technicians, slicksters, amateur type fighters, and the public prefer the more warrior types. Jay says he thinks he needs more support for Dillian White. People seem to have written him off. I think he'll go on to do great things. I'm a Dillian White fan. I like Dillian White. Met him as well. Nice guy. But for me, he performed very poorly in the Anthony Joshua fight and let himself down a bit with conditioning. SCS, do you think anything will kick off next week between Frampton and Quigg? Probably not. Too much money involved. One Tooth Golden. What are the pay-per-view numbers based on? Yeah, we're talking UK numbers. Jet, what's next for Andy Lee? Good question. I mean, could Billy Joe do a rematch? Could he fight Chris Eubank? Who knows? Yeah, maybe GGG. That's a good start. It could be Triple G. Andy Lee's got a big name still. He's well known. Tivitap, weren't a lot of people saying White would get KO'd in 2 or 3 rounds? Yeah, they were. I thought White would win. I still thought White would win going into the 4th round. I thought he was winning, but yeah, conditioning was an issue there. Guys, I've rambled on now for over an hour. I'm a bit worn out because, as I said, I was recording for over an hour before this with Ultra Tech Sports. So we're going to call it a day, I think. Thanks everyone very much for watching. Really appreciate everyone who's tuned in, and really appreciate everyone who's clicked the thumbs up button, everyone who's subscribed. Really helps support me and move this channel forward. So thanks very much for that. Hopefully this time next week we'll go again next Thursday as always. Hopefully we'll get a few more callers in next week. Add me on Skype, boxing.gossip, so you can call in. Titus says thanks. Matt says cheers, mate. Jacob says good video. Taran says cheers. One Tooth Golden says good job. Jay says superb as always, mate. Taran says cheers. Hacker Time says good stuff. Luke says good sorrow. B-Boy says thanks. Troy says thanks, fella. Boxing Gossip, thanks as always. BG and everyone in the chat. Dan says cheers, mate. Thanks very much to everyone. You've helped make the show. Paula says thanks, Tom. David says shout out to you, my man. Matthew says great stuff. Gerald says thanks. Really appreciate all the support, guys. Really appreciate the support. Stevie says upload the vid so I can watch the bit I missed. Nice one. Yes, Stevie will be going up. It'll be up in 20 minutes. Boxing Greatness ignored all my comments. I didn't ignore your comments. Apologies if I missed them. The chat was just too busy to keep up with. But I remember reading one of yours out. Yes, Jet, we'll do a video next week, 100%. Tira Tap says cheers, dude. Cheers all. Thanks very much, guys. Hope everyone has a good evening. All the best, and stay tuned to the channel. Going to take the weekend off now, but yeah, we'll get some stuff up next week. Thanks, guys.